besties, welcome to or welcome back to my channel. If you guys are seeing my face for the first time, hi, my name is Maya and I like to talk about books here on the internet. Happy Realmathon to all of you. If you guys are participating, let me know what teams you are on, what books you're reading, what are your plans, etc., etc., because inquiring minds want to know and inquiring rogue minds want to know, so I could be able to steal off all y'all's TBRs. I have a stockpile of books here that are literally off the shelves, which is why my shelves look like this, and which is why they look like this in the Jonte's Inferno readathon intro outro, because I'm wearing the same fit. I've been very busy the past couple of days, so that is why this intro is coming a little late, and a lot of that has been due to just life situations and stuff. We have our energy bevy on deck and we are ready to talk about everything that has happened so far in Realmathon. Day one, people, we were just off and running to the races. Let me tell you what, on Sunday, a couple of things happened in the world of Realmathon news, so let me just catch you up to speed. So first off, for Sunday, I had my first video posted of the month, my March TBR, or rather my March reading plans, because I didn't really have a TBR to show, but also the big feature of the night was that Cassidy did her kickoff reading sprints for Realmathon.
Happy Realmathon! Can't believe it's year 5. That's kind of insane. I would love to know what everyone is reading. I will be clicking on things as I see them. Hello, Rochelle. But I will not be able to click on every message. I'm so sorry. I must read every comment. So if it's your first time here and if you have no idea what Realmathon is, it's a competitive team-based readathon that I run every single year. Everything that you need to know about it is linked down below, so I don't have to do a whole spiel. Hi, my name's Cassidy, and you're on my channel, and I read fantasy, romantasy, apparently romance now, thriller, horror, and I do a lot of like fun reading vlogs that make my TBR a game. And I'm gonna make everyone else introduce themselves. So Mel, you go next.
I'm Mel from Eleanor Reads. I also read a lot of romantasy, fantasy, horror, and some romance. I also enjoy doing reading vlogs. They have themes. They don't always have the same types of themes. Fun TBR game. Yeah, I think that's about it. Monica?
I'm Monica from On Monica's Shelves. I primarily am reading romance, romantasy, fantasy, and horror.
I have a type.
What?
I have a type.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Jensen. I'm from Jensen Reads. I started off my channel reading mostly like contemporary romances. That's what I read in my early 20s and stuff. But now I read mostly fantasy romances with like the occasional thriller, the occasional sci-fi. And yeah, I don't really do reading vlogs very often, but I'm gonna try to do them more often this year.
I want them. Give them to me.
I did like 2 this past month, so I was very proud of myself for that.
On Monday, I had a lot of behind the scenes business content things to do. I had some schoolwork to do, but then in the evening, I did join Lexi's live, and yes, I got some books read finally, and I got some books read in the morning as well, books being plural, because yes, I've actually been reading multiple books, and I made some progress in all 3. That was the last 2 days. Today, I had a lot of schoolwork and stuff. I actually finished a big project that I needed to do. That is what has been happening. That is the catch up. So let's get into the TBR. Alrighty, hey y'all. Let's get into the Lord of the Reads, and I didn't check where I last landed, and I think I'm gonna just use this month as like a kind of like a reset. This month isn't going to be the normal month because we don't have our final FMC game, and we're gonna be doing 3 rolls every single week for a possibility of 3 books and or potentially more depending on what space we land on and or if I like the prompts that were given. So I'm really not overly concerned about starting where we left off. This is just kind of a side quest type of month, so we'll just start wherever I want to start. So let's do that. Why don't we start on the series jar because it sounds like a good idea. Okay, so first roll. Here we go. Right, we're just gonna roll a regular d6. Okay. Wrong button, apparently. Stop. Okay, we have a 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4 prompt cards. Beautiful. We'll see what we roll here. And of course, there is the random wheel with all of the choices as soon as it loads. Okay, we have a 23. So you know what? I'm gonna remove it and I'm gonna keep this particular wheel up for the entirety of the month. So that's how we're gonna do that. I just now have decided in real-time gameplay. Okay, so we have 23, the newest book on your TBR. Oh my gosh, I love that for me. So for this prompt, I decided to read The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman. It was either this or a blind date with a book. In a peaceful retirement village, 4 unlikely friends meet weekly in the jigsaw room to discuss unsolved crimes. Together, they call themselves the Thursday Murder Club. I'm guessing they meet on Thursdays. When a local developer is found dead with a mysterious photograph left next to the body, the friends suddenly find themselves in the middle of their first live case. They might be senior citizens, but they are cleverer than most. As the bodies begin to pile up, can our unorthodox but brilliant gang catch the killer before it's too late? I don't know why I had this thought, and someone please come and correct me if this is indeed not the case, if you've read the book and you know exactly what is in it. Golden Girls meets murder? Oh, I'm excited. Last month, the prompts were hard to appreciate, but this month we're doing good. Okay, stop. Okay, faster than a herd of turtles, baby. Okay. Fantasy. For the fantasy square, I decided I was gonna read a honker of a book, Alchemized by Sun Lin Yu, and this is a book that I really, really, really wanted to get to and I knew was gonna be a part of my TBR. I just needed an incentive to start reading it early because... Like what? So this thing has me a little intimidated, okay? I'm just a 5-foot girly. This is David going up against Goliath, all right? Now, the biblical version, David wins. In this version, we don't know yet. Once a promising alchemist, Helena Moreno is now a prisoner of war and of her own mind. Her resistance friends and allies have been brutally murdered, her abilities suppressed, and the world she knew destroyed. In the aftermath of a long war, Palladia's new ruling class of corrupt guild families and depraved necromancers whose vile undead creatures help bring about their victory holds Helena captive. According to Resistance records, she was a healer of little importance within their ranks, but Helena has inexplicable memory loss of the months leading up to her capture, making her enemies wonder, is she truly as insignificant as she appears, or are her lost memories hiding some vital piece of the Resistance's final gambit? To uncover the memories buried deep within her mind, Helena is sent to the High Reeve, one of the most powerful and ruthless necromancers in this world. Trapped on his crumbling estate, Helena's fight to protect her lost history and to preserve the last remaining shreds of her former self is just beginning. For her prison and captor have secrets of their own. Secrets Helena must unearth, whatever the cost. All right, one final roll for this week. I think, yeah, we'll do this as the last, unless it's really, really bad. Okay, stop. We have a 4. Wrong button. 1, 2, 3, oh, 4. Okay, well, a TBR jar. So I don't have one of those. And I don't have any specific books like as a 26 for 26 or something like that. So what we'll do is we'll just roll again because I forgot what I said what I was going to do with this, but technically this is a side quest situation. So 6. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Prompt cards again. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. The world is on fire and it's fine. Oh, wow. Okay, that was on the line. Okay, let's remove that. Okay, number 14. Okay, that's gonna be the shortest book on your TBR. Holy mercy. Okay, this round is actually nice to me, and I think I know what it is. And I have decided to go with The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. This is a graphic novel, and I cannot wait to see this story like this because tangent time! I loved the movies more than I liked the books. I didn't hate the book, okay? I had a fun time with it. It was great. It was, honestly, it was a book. I was probably more excited about it because it represented the movie that I love so much, and that was the OG thing that led to this movie being created. But can I just tell you, the movies did it better in every way. In every way. And I kid you not, I could go off for years on this. But I won't do that. I will just say they did so many of the characters better, and by so many of the characters, pretty much like all of them. Okay? But some more than others, and by some more than others, I mean the dwarves. I am so happy we got the dwarves the way that we did. Did I just spit at you guys? I'm so sorry. I am so happy we got those dwarves in the movie because in the books, oh my gosh, Thorin is insufferable. Like, I mean, insufferable. And even not for the fact of, like how he is in the movie, and like at first he's, he's distant and he's cold and he's whatever and he's No, there was no personality. There was literally none. There was no personality. There was nothing to back him up. Like, this character just came in, just kind of saying the exact same crap every single argument, every single time he was told something. I was just like, no, at least, like, we have some character development with, the Thorin Oakenshield that we got in the movies. Like, there was character. Hallelujah. There was character in that. The princes, Feely and Keely, by the way. Okay. They had personality. They existed. Like, they were on the page. On the page they existed. Why the hecky did they exist in the page, in the story, but had, like, no lines, no thought, no plot? Like, there was nothing. They had nothing. They were a name that was there. I was like, what? This makes no sense. I literally had to, I'm not kidding. After reading the books, because I read the books after the movies, because at least I had something in my head of what these people looked like. I don't know. I read the book. Okay, I read the book, and then I watched the movies, and I was just like, oh, this is light years better. Light years better. How? I like, Like, I'm sorry, but there was just nothing for them, and they made every single dwarf personality. And I know you could do that. I know you could do that in movies. So much easier than you can in books. It really just does take a lot of time, effort, and dedication. I totally get that. And he is a genius with atmosphere. I truly think that's where his strong suit lay. Tolkien. I think his strong suit lay with atmosphere and world building, but my goodness, get the characters a little something. Just a tiny bit of something. I don't freaking know. Sorry. I'm not trying to trash. I'm not trying to trash your favorite author or your favorite movie, but listen, can we all agree, objectively, the dwarves were better in the movies? Okay, because why did I go from simping for the princes in the first movie? No shame, I'll say it. To reading the book and being like, are you guys there? Like, I saw their names. No personality, no interaction, or barely their interaction, no depth. I was like, where did we get Feely and Keely from? Feely and Keely. And then don't even get me started on, like, Dwalin and the others. Like, what happened? Let's read the back of the book for the synopsis. The Hobbit is the story of Bilbo Baggins, a quiet and contented hobbit whose life is turned upside down when he joins the wizard Gandalf and 13 dwarves on their quest to reclaim stolen treasure. It is a journey fraught with danger, and in the end, Bilbo alone must face the guardian of this treasure, the most dreaded dragon in all of Middle-earth. I kind of beg to differ. I think Gollum, Smeagol, Precious, whoever you want to call him, I genuinely think he is the most terrifying and frightening thing in Middle-earth. J.R.R. Tolkien's enchanting prelude to The Lord of the Rings is one of the best-loved books of all time. Carefully abridged and beautifully painted, David Wenslow's graphic novel has become a best-selling classic in its own right, and a delight to Hobbit fans old and new. Oh, I kind of like that. I have started 3 books. Only one is on the TBR that was made of the Lord of the Rings game. So let me tell you guys what those books are. One of them we've already talked about, Alchemized. I got about 30-ish pages. I will probably need to read a little bit more before I can accurately even describe what is going on within this world, because I think I know what is happening, but I think I need a little bit more info to be more thoroughly informed before I do a reading update. So I don't really have one in the way of that. However, I do have another physical book that I am reading that I had rolled over from last month, and that is The House on the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. As you can see, I am pretty into this book at this point. I am about 144 pages in, and you know, the story is definitely matching the synopsis on the back. Linus Baker is a by-the-book caseworker in the department in charge of magical youth. At 40, he lives in a tiny house with a devious cat and his old records for company. But his quiet life is about to change. Linus is summoned by extremely upper management and given a curious and highly classified assignment. Travel to an orphanage on a distant island and determine whether 6 dangerous magical children are so dangerous, in fact, that they're likely to bring about the end of days. When Linus arrives at that strangest of islands, he's greeted by a series of mysterious figures, the greatest mystery of which is Arthur Parnassus, the master of the orphanage. As Linus and Arthur grow closer, Linus discovers the master would do anything to keep the children safe, even if it means the world has to burn. Or worse, his secret comes to light. The House in the Cerulean Sea is an enchanting love story, masterfully told about the profound experience of discovering an unlikely family in an unexpected place and realizing that family is yours. So there's that book. And then the third and final book that I'll talk about and we'll wrap up this little yap sesh with, because we have been here a millennia, is Maybe Later by Claudia Bergoa. And I literally started it Sunday morning because I got up so stinking early. Or I'm sorry, no, Monday. Did I really only start it Monday? Yeah, Monday morning is when I started it. I woke up so stinking early because of a physical health thing that I got going on with me. And I took advantage of that, woke up, listened to some audio book, walked down my 3 flights of stairs, got in my car, got me a coffee, came right back up, and continued listening to it for a couple more hours, I think. And then I did the same thing today. And, when I got my little energy bevy, and I've been having such a fun time with this book. This is a book I did not know I needed, because I typically don't go for contemporary slice of life romances. I don't know why, I just don't. It's not really my thing, but I don't know, this one has me. What I love about this dual POV that I think is why I like it more than most is that it's through emails. So it's through an entirely different medium, so we can get more of the story along and keeping it going and have the times just be expeditious here, while simultaneously seeing the progression of the relationship. And then now we're getting into a little bit more of the meat and potatoes of the story, where there's some like actual, telling of the story in novel format versus within the emails. And I love that too. I think that there is such a sweetness about this book and of these characters, and the way that this story unfolds, and all of the different little miscommunications along the way are handled so well and dealt with so well. And it's not like it's not realistic, but it's almost the ideal realistic that makes it unrealistic, that makes it interesting. Because I don't know if I would want to read constantly slice of life stuff that is too slice of life, you know what I mean? I like reading slice of life that has a little bit of idealism, a little bit of romanticism, but is still mature in its telling. And I think this does it for me. Yeah, that is everything to catch you guys up on what the readathon has been thus far. So now that I have talked your guys' ear off and talked my voice out of my system, kind of, sorta, I am going to be finishing off editing my Jonte's Inferno vlog, because I would like to have it scheduled for tomorrow, and I'm almost done. So I think I'm gonna finish up that and then call it a day with the productivity, because as I said, I did a big school project. So if anything, I might only do something productive in reading a chapter of a book that I need to write a book summary for, or rather not summary, but chapter summaries of each chapter for the entirety of the book, to prove that we read all of the book and understand what's in said book for a paper. So I think I'm gonna read the next chapter and type that up afterwards, and then we'll call it a night. And yeah, we'll just read from there. And I don't know if I'm going to be seeing you guys at all for the rest of the day. So if I don't, have a great evening. If I do, I will see you when I see ya. It is Wednesday. I actually have some reading updates for you guys. And also I would like to just formally apologize that I didn't really get a lot of footage these past couple of days. I do apologize that there will be just a lack of movement. I know that some people do reading vlogs in different ways. I personally would like to incorporate more movement than I have been, but I really can't do more than I have, or it won't be a thing that exists. So I will take my W's where I can. I will accept the L's where they land. That's more a me thing than a you thing. Hi, welcome. Hope you guys are having a great, amazing day. You guys are reading great, amazing books. And I know it's within the same video, but still it's a separate day for me. So I will just greet you guys as if it's a separate day as well. I have read some stuff because, as I've been saying, I have been reading Maybe Later by Claudia Bergoa. And it's been a tradition of the morning at this point to wake up, listen to said audiobook, go down to my car, get me a little Starbucks bevy, and listen to said book. We are just under, I think at this point, 2 hours if I'm not mistaken, or we're at the 2-hour mark or very close to. I don't know. I have been switching between 1.4 to 1.6 in speed, just depending on how much I'm able to grasp through like driving and stuff. Like when I'm driving, I typically have it on a 1.4. When I'm able to like sit in a line and be able to actually listen to it, I can have it be a little bit faster. As I'm doing other things or cleaning, it can be a little bit faster than driving because I'm not hearing like all of the noise of the road and I can concentrate a little bit better. Y'all don't care about this. Why am I even yapping on about this? I have been listening to Maybe Later, and the characters, the banter, the quick turnaround of the narrative from just like cute, cozy, cute little romance through emails to I am having sexual fantasies about just like, whoa, whoa, whoa. By the way, I know what the word is, I just don't know if YouTube appreciates that word, so I'm being YouTube appropriate here, but I was like, whoa, okay, I was not ready. I was not ready. Also, as far as these people knew, when they started fantasizing, there we go, I should have said that. When they started fantasizing, they thought they were two separate people, liking two separate people. I was like, well, there you go. It checks. Somewhere in there we had to be a little bit human, right? This is empty. Perfect. I have drinks ordered in on the way, but I also apparently need to fill up my water bottle. Noted. Because I'm thirsty. I am having such a good time with this book. We are following along two characters, A. Walkman and J. Spearman, initially, and then we learn different names as we are introduced to them as people and introduced to their story, and there's actually a story versus emails being sent back and forth. But at first they actually get together through just coincidence, purely because his assistant, or rather our MMC's main assistant, has maternity leave, and so because she's taking maternity leave, he needs an assistant. Well, she got him a virtual assistant because not many people can handle him as a person. So that is where our FMC comes into the picture, and our MMC is Jay Spearman, or Jack, and our FMC is A. Walker, or Emmeline. So these two meet out of coincidence and basically job need. That's really how that happens. They start emailing back and forth, and through their emails, they start to have a little bit of a banter, have a little bit of a knowing of each other, and not only do both of their perspectives kind of change and they actually work with each other to build each other up, but in a way that is very believable, you know, in a way that's not automatic, just immediate, grumpy character immediately softens for the female character. Now, there are stories that do that, can be much appreciated, I am sure, but I greatly appreciated this one because I was kind of in the mood for a book that, if there is going to be a romance, there has to be a little bit more than just the very quick type of tropes, if that makes sense. You know, I don't necessarily want a slow burn because that could take for freaking ever. Who knows what people think of when they think of slow burn and how authors write slow burn. But I want the setup, the foundation. I want the banter, the humor. I want the friendship. And what I really greatly appreciate of these two characters is they're kind of yapping back and forth. And even after they meet each other in real life, because they accidentally meet each other in real life out in the wild and they don't know that it's each other. And so they're talking to each other about certain things in their life that it correlates. I got to the part where one of them figured it out. That was a whole time and a thing, but the lead up to that was just a time and a thing as well, because I was you just gotta read the book in order to understand the emotional things that can happen and the emotional neurons firing in my system right now. Emotional chemicals firing in my system right now, because it was just a time and a half. They really do, the author really does a good build up to the interaction, I feel, and that's where I was getting off, is I like a story that gives us the foundation, that gives us the substance, that gives us a believable friendship to create a believable romance that will last and that will supersede a lot of other obstacles should they come, and they will come. And I like it when the author writes all of the obstacles as well. I love that these characters, they truly have an annoyance with each other. There are times where they truly like hurt each other, not intentionally, but the way that it is handled so maturely, and it's handled over time too. And I think it builds a believable relationship to where if you are like my age and older, I think you'd appreciate the fact that it is a mature relationship in a very quick, easy breezy type of contemporary romance, because for the most part for me, I find that romances in fantasy books that I have read in the past, granted I was in middle grade and I was a teenager, but I still found them very quick. I found them not as believable, and I think it's because the foundation that was laid was not conducive to being believable, that the bond was strong. And it doesn't mean that it has to be such a long span of time, because truly when you live life, you have those people that you connect with like that, and you explain it like that. It just, we connected, our energy matched, boom, we're friends, or boom, we're in a relationship. That stuff happens, and that stuff can exist, and that stuff can exist and persist. I think that's a very believable thing. I think also, though, is that even those relationships, when they have hurdles or miscommunications, the reason that they stay so strong and so tightly knit together is because they have built something past just a connection. The connection is what attracted them. It was the friendship and the energy and the effort and the knowledge of the other and their life that keeps them together. And I think that is what I greatly appreciate about the story. Like, I could go on and off, because I have had so many romances where I was just like, I can't ship them because it's unbelievable to me. And there are very few romances actually that I do indeed back. I mean, I back more than I say or more than I sound like I do, but it's exceptionally rare for me to sit down to a contemporary knowing that it's romance and being like, I believe the setup that it is, when it just happens so quickly and I feel like there's not a foundational element to that. And maybe I'm just picking up the wrong romance books. I know a lot of romance books actually set up the foundation very, very well, but of the pool of romance that I have read thus far, it's been, I'd say realistically, a good 50-50 of yes, I believe it, and it's so cute, and I was just like kicking my feet and giggling with glee, and yes, shipping them, versus I don't believe that, they're annoying me, someone please just like bang my head against a wall, because what is this? A lot of it, I have to say, the root of the issue is the handling of communication between the two parties and making it believable, because there are moments in here where you literally are just like, bruh, y'all need to get it together here, but you know that they will, because, or rather that it's going to be something that is laid to rest for now, that will be addressed later, or will be fixed with other acts and parts of the storyline. I can't say much without spoiling it, but it's more so, it's more the fact of how they handle communication overall that really gets me. And so a lot of the romances that I don't like don't handle communication whatsoever. They don't even communicate. They assume. And that bugs me. Now listen, maybe that bugs me because that's the type of person I am. I don't like confrontation. I would rather just go along and smile and wave, boys, smile and wave, than make waves because I am uncomfortable with something, or something just, it doesn't make sense in my way of life. It may make sense for another person, but it doesn't make sense for me. So I'm just like, eh. But then I sit with it and internally have conversations and assumptions and presuppositions on a person who literally doesn't even know that they're doing anything wrong, and literally nothing about my internal everything is affecting them like zero. So I get it. I understand it. I don't want to read it. I don't want to get called out. Are you kidding? But I have also learned how to communicate a little bit better, and I think that is why I would like to see that in my stories as well, because I mean, that's just the basic bare minimum, right? Of communication and writing communicative interactions and relationships. I think you have to have a good basis of communication, irregardless of if there's a problem or not, because it creates a good foundational element for your characters, even if your characters are not going to be in a romantic relationship, even friendships. Some of the best books that I have read with the best friendships and with the best found family come with the best methods, or rather maybe not methods, come with the best communication styles that I have seen, because they actually work through it and communicate with it. Sure, it may take them thousands and thousands of words, but they eventually get there. And by thousands and thousands of words, I mean not them speaking at each other, but rather thousands and thousands of words, meaning tens of hundreds of pages before they actually get there, but they'll get there, right? And if they don't, they have other conversations that kind of fix the issue and fix the internal questions and insecurities that maybe the other person didn't know, and maybe it heals the other character. It's one of those things, right? It's a more realistic form of communication. And while we are not here to read books that are exact reality, because no, I just left an 11.5-hour work shift. I'm not going to be reading about someone doing an 11.5-hour work shift, just typing on the keyboard, just listening to music, trying to get through their day. I'm not reading pages and pages of that. Yes, I want romanticized, I want idealized, I want a relationship that I can follow, that I can actually care about, and just wallow away as a little hermit in my room. Absolutely. Do I want someone to ride a dragon for me? Do I want someone to, like, literally become a badass assassin, or someone who could wield a blade? Because I can't, and I've always wanted to. Abso-freaking-lutely here, but you know what I'm saying. I think you guys get it. I think you guys get that, you know, when we come to the basic bare bones of creating characters, I think this is all about character technicalities at the end of the day, right? This is more of a technique, stylistic choice on the parts of authors when it comes to their characters than it truly is like anything about the book or the plot or the characters themselves, right? I like the foundational technicalities of writing a good conversation and making it believable irregardless of all of the stumbling blocks, miscommunications, other types of hurdles that you have to put in there, or even blatant, intentional miscommunication for the sake of the plot. I'm here. I am eating that mess up, okay? I am. I'm eating what you're serving me, but I want to be served. I would rather be served a steak than a pile of beef. What is that? Like, you know, like taco meat. I don't do taco meat just by itself. By the way, I do steak. I do steak by itself. I don't do taco meat by itself. So it's like, I would rather take the steak than a plate of taco meat. You give me taco meat, I'm gonna make a face, okay? I might make a little bit of a stink. Will I eat it? Depends on the day. You know, am I hungry enough? But I don't even know where we're going off on that metaphor. My phone is yelling at me for low storage already because I need to clear out the cache and queue and all of that. So I think it's just telling me to stop yapping about said book, because we got off on a little tangent there. Or rather, I got off on a little tangent there. I'm so sorry. Oh my goodness. let me see if my bevies are headed my way. Listen, I have an energy bevy on the way. I should not be this pressed already without my energy drinks. But anywho, so that was Maybe Later by Claudia Vergoa. Phone is gonna cut me off, so I'm gonna cut myself off before it can cut me off, and then I'm gonna clear my queue, and then I'll come back and we'll talk about my other book that I have been reading, and it's a physical book. So, uno momentito, por favor. We are back. Okay, so I think I got enough storage now to talk a little bit more, which is great. I also used that little break to get me some water because I am I'm looking at where my dasher is, and they're having a fun time with the directions. So I am trying to reach out, so I hope one of the methods may be able to go through. Anyways, another book that I have been reading that is literally not on my TBR for Lord of the Reeds and those roles is The House on the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. You guys, I am having a great, amazing time. We are following along our main character, Linus, who works in a magical department. The actual acronym is DICOMY, I think is how it is sounded out, but it's such a long freaking name. But he is called by higher upper management, I think, and there's only 4 people that are the elite of the elite that are running this organization, and it's meant to protect magical entities and people, but it's not really doing that. It's more of a, hey everybody, simmer down, we'll take care of the problem children, you just live your normal lives, we'll take care of any sort of anomalies that may happen. And Linus, our main character, is part of this system, although he trusts this system almost to a terrifying degree, in that he loves his job, he loves the kids, he does it to the best of his capabilities, but once his job is done, it's like that's it for him, and that's it for his line of thinking. And I don't know yet if it's a personal thing where he might actually think that there might be something untoward that could possibly be going on, which is why he's kind of just like blocked it out so heavily, or if he genuinely just does not care to go further with his questioning because he's like afraid to, because that's just kind of the personality that he is. I don't know. So I'm having a fun time trying to figure out our main character whilst simultaneously trying to figure out the other characters. Although I must say, the other characters seem more forthcoming than even our main character. Oh, I thought it was a text from the driver. I feel as though the other characters are a little bit more forthcoming, even though we know nothing about them. And maybe it's for that reason alone, because we don't get much in the way of their files, because he is a caseworker. So he has files on all of the people, including the people that are supposed to watch the children, or at least the person that is supposed to watch the children. Turns out there are 2. And turns out there's more going on to the story, which that alone, red flag for him, but he still decides to go, which self-preservation instincts 0, I guess. But then he gets to the files and he realizes, oh, there are creatures that exist that supposedly were wiped out, don't exist, no longer are a thing. So how did this happen? How are there children like this? How did they get to this orphanage? How did they survive? So many questions. And he's really having to start literally from like the ground up. Ground zero up. And in fact, honestly, I would say he's even on basement level, okay? He somehow ended up in the basement, was disoriented, and now he has to like clamber his way up the ladder and even get to the main floor. That's kind of where we're at with where he's trying to figure out who these people are, what they're doing here, what is the purpose of this place, like what is going on, what are all of the details, because why are they so heavily not talked about, and why is there information that is almost none so sparse when you're trying to bring a caseworker in to see if everything is on the up and up. And he is going off on the upper management for not telling him a dang thing about pretty much any of them. And the only things that he does know is what they are, and barely that. So he has a lot of questions. He doesn't have a lot of answers. He's finding out as we're finding out. And I feel like these characters that we're finding out about are a lot more forthcoming about their own personal stories and intentions than even our main character, which kind of means that our main character is a little bit unreliable in that way, because we are coming from a character who is going into something he does not know about and just trying to piece things together in his own mind and make his own assumptions, his own presuppositions. But at every single turn, all of them are just getting knocked over because logic and curiosity and just general human emotion and empathy. And I think it's kind of cool that we are following along this character specifically, and this character was written in this way, because now as we follow the other characters and we're finding out more about them, we can gain more sympathy and empathy for them because of everything that has led up to this moment where we're following a guy who is a caseworker in a department that he thinks is supposed to be good, and clearly it's not. But you've been here for so long, so why haven't you asked further questions? So his beliefs are being challenged, and because that is like a defense mechanism of like, well, but I just didn't question it. Well, now he is, because now he finally has a reason to. And I think it's so cool to watch this story unfold in real time. I knew that this was going to be a good book based off of the person that I got the recommendation from, which was Gavin Reads It All. Not personally, but like I've seen this book on his channel before. I think this is the reason that I wanted to read it so bad, not gonna lie. I swear on everything, every single time, ever since I go to Barnes & Noble, I see this dang book, and it just taunts me. It's like, buy me, buy me, buy me. Well, this time I caved. I'm glad I caved. I wish I caved earlier. So that is all I have for you guys in terms of the updates, in terms of my reading. Bro, you are literally, oh, bless your heart. Bless your heart. You are really struggling. Okay, I'm gonna try and contact my DoorDash driver, and hopefully this time they will answer back. So yeah, I'm gonna sign off, do the things, and I will talk to you guys in the next reading update, which is probably more than likely gonna be tomorrow. So see y'all tomorrow. Bye. Okay, hi guys. This has nothing to do with reading, but I just got the alert that my DoorDash order finally arrived. Y'all, I had to file a case report because it got dropped off at a completely different location, not even in my apartment complex. How that happens, I have no idea, because I'm not gonna say everything that I'm thinking, but I'm like, I was very, very detailed. It's okay, but then I had to reorder, I got me my refund, and now we are ready to dig into the drinks, so let's get them. I can't believe I'm bringing you guys along on this journey. It's a side quest. Ah! Yay! Hi besties! Welcome to another reading update, and also the final reading update for Realmathon week 1. I am so sorry. First off, let me just start there. I am so sorry that I haven't been more active with the vlogging thing, but I kind of foresaw something like this occurring here in the very near future, which is why I was so reserved with talking about if I would upload weekly or not, and I said I wanted to, but it was a hopeful thing. It wasn't a guaranteed thing because of health reasons, and health did strike again. It's been a week, and I'm not gonna beleaguer the issue of health things. Just know that I am okay. It's a time and a thing. It just takes away some energies that I could normally otherwise dedicate to content. So yeah, that is why there is a lack of movement throughout the vlog. I hope you guys can forgive me, but this is truly the best that I can give in real time, and that is what we are vlogging here for the experience. But I have been reading those, so don't you worry. I have made progress in that at least. I don't know how I want to do this. I don't know if I'm going to do this the same every single time, but I want to try something with y'all, so let's do it this way. First, let's talk about all of the books that were on the Lord of the Reeds TBR. I have 3 books. So one of the roles I chose The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien, graphic novel. I was gonna say reimagining, but it's not really a reimagining. It's just a repurposed story. That's how we're gonna word that. So I am actually saving this for the Gala of Peace. So I read 0 pages. And that is okay, because the Gala of Peace is double points for all of the books that we read. So this was part of the plan. I was always gonna just save that book for that time because I want to get those reads in. One of the other roles I picked The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman. Did not start this book, so 0 pages added to my stats. But they're looking a little better when I give you the last book on the list, which is Alchemized by Sin Lin Yu. And as you can see, I have read some of it, but I have not read any further than the last reading update that I had of this, which was me just even talking about it on the TBR, and I had 31 pages read. Yeah, and I still really have no idea how to accurately describe the setting of this story, because I feel I might have to read about 50 more pages before I understand what it is that I had read and how that is fitting into the context of actually starting the story, if that makes any sense. That being said, we have a few honorable book mentions, and I think these are going to make the stats look a little bit more promising. I'm going to start with our physical book, and that was The House on the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. This is a book from my final FMC game that I am rolling over into this month, and boy howdy, is it a fun time over here. I have not read past my last reading update with y'all, so nothing new to report on that. However, the amount of pages that I have read, I believe 164. Okay, that's where I'm at. 164 pages have been read. Another honorable mention here, that's gonna be a little bit harder to track statistically, just because of the format, because it's an audiobook, is Maybe Later by Claudia Bergoa, and I have about 41 minutes plus some change in seconds of the audiobook, listening at 1.6 speed. We may actually be finishing that tonight. However, I am calling the submission deadline because it's like 5:30 right now, and I have some other things to do. I'm actually going on live with a friend group of mine, and I'm also trying to get together all of the footages for this week's Realmathon vlog so that I can get it all together so that I can post it on Sunday evening. So that's going to be a time and a thing. It's literally only this portion of the video right here, but you never know with all of the assets and other things, so I just want to get a jump on that with editing. I am going to just stop my yapper and get on with that, but I have been having a very fun time, and y'all, we have some books that have been read. None have been finished, and they're all being rolled over into next week, so stay tuned for the massive TBR that's going to be happening next week, because these are going to be added on as well. Let me know what books you're reading. Let me know if you're liking them. Spoiler free, of course, for anyone in the comments who may want to read those books too. But yeah, let us know. We would love to hear from you, or if you just want to chat about your day, we would love to hear from you down there too. And I will be leaving all of the socials linked in the description box down below, including Cassidy's readathon announcement, so that you can go over to her channel, like, subscribe, do all of the YouTube things. And then from her channel announcement video, she has all of the lovely, amazing hosts. Go subscribe to them, like, comment, share, all of the things, because we love all of them over here. So thank you guys so much for watching, for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. And as always, thank you guys so much for being the absolute best bookish bestie that ever was, is, or ever will be. I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. Bye!